In episode 1, Take Shelter, with 2 L's, we were introduced to a group of patchers, a skilled group of 5 that have been tasked, like many others before them, to inspect, repair, and reinforce the mycelium network that covers the lands of Kahada, keeping the lush world around them safe as the gods from the Hallows above and the circles below channel their divine energies through that network toward their opposing realm. There are several teams of patchers active at a time as they travel from nexus to nexus, these hubs where the individual sections of the mycelium network originate as their hyphae spread through the soil. If a fungrel were to connect to any part of this mycelium network where it originates with that hypha, it would see these webs, these almost like spider webs kind of stretching out and curving toward one another, like creating this perfect sphere that is the land of Kahada. A group of patchers will always consist of a fungrel and a seraph, plus a few very essential and adept fighters to help ensure they travel the more untamed areas of their world safely. It's also helpful because fungrel are generally known for their pacifism and their unyielding empathy towards all creatures, even the nasty ones.
Yeah.
We met this particular group of patchers, a group that consists of Serrecor, the emotionally distant Dracona, Tykan, the shy, light-footed giant, Sprig, the impressionable fungrel, and their Highland cow companion, Pearl, Ella, the fairy with a mace that politely suggests good vibes only, and Allie, the Inferis, who misses riding the barrels of that port so much he's willing to get pitted by the sick beast from the Hallows above.
Whoa.
We met these bold
Wow.
We met these bold adventurers during one of their routine Nexus inspections. On the eve before they departed Damp Digs, the underground Galapa settlement that houses one of these Nexinums, Canon, the unthinkable had occurred. A gurgle fly the size of a modest house burst forth from the Nexus, broke through the ceiling of the chamber within Damp Digs, attacking its occupants and hurting itself significantly in the process. It was the second breach in the matter of weeks, an incident that hasn't occurred actually in decades, since the mycelium network had been reinforced by that blessed sap, milk from the sun trees. Despite their confidence, knowing they did everything right, the Nexus still failed, and the patchers needed to find out why. After laying waste to the invasive gurglefly and investigating what remained of the Nexus chamber, our patchers discovered the clues that suggested sabotage, and actually a note that specifically requested for sabotage. It was cleverly translated from Thieves' Cant by Tykan. For the patchers, all roads seem to be leading toward Dunta Gorge, where the other breached Nexus lies, and then perhaps the bandit camp that lays just beyond that, in the mountains to the east. And it's time to find out what happens next. It's time to play some Daggerheart.
Turn it up.
Oh, golly, everybody. You wake in your individual chambers provided by the Galapa of Damp Digs, your muscles aching, bruised, shifting from yellows to deeper blue hues. Your imagination's kind of dancing with these conspiracy theories about who could be responsible for the breach that occurred under your care, and if Dunta Gorge suffered the same fate. As you exit through the mouth of the cave, the golden sunrise hitting your faces, causing you to kind of have to shield your eyes for a second as they adjust from the cave's dim lighting. You... Are they shaded?
Yeah, they're shaded.
Are they transitional?
Yeah, like Jazzy Jeff.
There is a beautiful party of Galapa kind of gathering to send you off. They share thanks, small tokens of gratitude. In the back, you can see Chetney and Nellie side by side, kind of waving with their hand that's available because the other one is occupied holding the opposite hand.
Oh,
We made that
We
happen.
all wink. I think it was Tresha, the young
Yes,
Galapa.
that sounds right, yeah, Tresha.
I'm gonna kneel down to Tresha
Yeah, she's got her little hat on.
and I'll like straighten it out and say, now just remember, you can be whatever you want to be, all right?
I'm gonna be a mushroom.
I love that.
She hands out her hand, shakes it like you've done thousands of times since you've arrived at Damp Digs.
Now, you take care of your family here, all right?
I will.
Okay.
Thank you. See you later down the road.
Absolutely.
She'll give Pearl a little pat on the head. Was that you or Pearl doing?
Yeah. Could be either.
Oh my god.
Any other thoughts before you guys turn?
I think I'm grabbing on, kind of like a kid with their parent. I'm
Yeah.
grabbing onto your pack, like lightly. Each time, like, I think, like, each time we have to leave someplace, I'm in a hurry. So I'm like, Sprig, can we go now? Can we go?
Oh, so you're the kid.
I'm the kid. Oh, yeah. No, I'm
I
the
was
kid.
ready to be. I was ready to throw down a Galapa kid.
No.
no.
I am trying to get Sprig, like, okay, let's go, please.
All right now. All right.
Can we go?
Just want. Goodbye now. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
So long.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Yeah, but really,
One of them gives a little this. Yeah.
my guy.
All right, so you set your sights forward, not knowing when you're next going to visit the earthy, chewy mushrooms that are the Galapas of Damp Digs, and start moving north across the meadows that lead down toward the river. The nexus you visited previous to Damp Digs was located west in a town called Capico. Capico, it's kind of hiding under this label here, but it's this little structure. It's a larger city than the stuff that you're about to go venture off into. It sits along that ocean shore that I just showed you, and it's a common starting place for patchers as they travel from west to east through like the center of this continent. The estuary that runs from the ocean into the heart of the continent makes for very easy passage. You've left your boat at sort of a rudimentary dock that's been built for patchers by patchers, knowing that this is always a very typical stop as they kind of hop from nexus to nexus. The stronger members of the party start kind of stretching their wrists, their forearms, and their shoulders before they start to make out the smells of fresh and salt water sort of combining in the air. And finally, you set your eyes on your crankcraft. It's a flat-bottomed watercraft, about 30 feet long and 10 feet wide. Its wide bow kind of curling slightly upward, and there's a metal bar right at the front of it for passengers to kind of hold on to. Its stern, however, reveals how the crankcraft got its name. There's a large metal wheel, kind of like a crank, with a rod sticking out of it, and right in front of it there's this metal fan that it's kind of attached to, and it's sort of secured all within this big metal cage. So when someone wishes to go for a ride, they simply take that crank wheel and turn it, twisting that sprig along its axis, which in turn generates energy for the propeller to start to spin, pushing air out from the back of the crankcraft and propelling it forward.
Oh, I see what we're going for. Yeah.
About-
Yeah.
It's another marvelous invention born of the necessities of Nexus maintenance. This is like a tool that they've developed in order to keep you at a fast pace. So, you guys all board the crankcraft. Who would like to crank first?
I'll crank.
You want to crank?
Crank it.
I'll crank. Yeah.
It's a very calm body of water, but even somehow, Allie manages to have a little bit of
I catch some waves.
Waves.
So you begin your journey toward the Dinta Gorge. I marked it as a calm journey, but we'll
Lightly to the extreme.
you take turns working the lever that adjusts the rudder so that you can avoid any banks or any large rocks that sort of peak above the surface of the water. And you reach a point where the water sort of splits into two directions. This fork, sort of in the water. This fork kind of marks the beginning of the waters of the Dinta Gorge environment. Now, something that I will be playing with, for your knowledge, I'm not going to reveal how it's kind of made up, but environments can have sort of stat blocks in Daggerheart, not unlike how like a creature or an adversary would. If you make certain choices, like there's certain creatures or things that trigger, like not all bad stuff, it's just to kind of help create quickly like a rich environment as people kind of traverse it. Knowing that your path leads north, you turn the rudder of the crankcraft and direct it left. It's a peaceful ecological system. The predators are on the smaller side and usually no mortal threat to any, average-sized people, even the teeny ones. As you're going down this little body of water, you spot a herd of seals, spelled S-E-E-L-S. They look a little like that.
Like the Pokemon. Nice.
These creatures are known for their very playful and curious natures, but as well, their ability to generate electricity. A few of the seals are kind of floating towards you on their backs, getting curious. Some of them are resting large boulders kind of on their tummies, holding it stiff with their flippers. And they start kind of like hopefully making eye contact with each of you while holding these little boulders. One comes closer up to the boat.
I think I'm braiding Pearl's hair. And I look over. Oh, hello, friend.
And it takes its flippers and its belly and kind of pushes the rock 5 feet away from the boat. And it starts to boop, kind of sink into the water. And you see the seal dive headfirst down into water and come back up, holding the rock on its belly again, and it comes closer to you.
That was so good. You did such a good job.
And it does like a little belly bump toward you. A couple others with the rocks.
I just want it, but I won't.
Another one kind of comes over to you guys.
I would like to play with your seal.
Okay. What are you doing?
DM, I would like to play with your seal. I see your seal.
I would like to
play.
I would like to raise you a play.
What are you doing with the seal?
All right, let me take the ball.
Great.
All right, take
Yeah.
the ball, and I want to throw it away from the boat.
Chuck it, and you hear a poop, and the seal excitedly dives deep down under the water, swims over, comes back up with it, and then scooches right back over to the boat.
I just want to feed it a little snack.
Yeah, okay.
Chum the water a
If
little
you're
bit.
like holding out bait to
I
one,
think I'm gonna drop it in the water kind of next to it.
these waters are a little bit murky, and these creatures adapt very well to it because they don't rely on vision so much. They rely a little bit on like a less powerful electric shock that kind of sends waves throughout, and they can kind of sense where things are. You see like a little bit of emanate from like its nose as it.
Can I use my nature's tongue to check in with the seals?
Yeah.
I assume I've probably slowed the boat down for
Have
seal
you?
time. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. We gotta chill with the seal.
There are a lot of
Yeah.
reports of crankcrafts having negative effects on seal wildlife.
That's true.
Terrible
That's true.
manatees.
See anything weird these days at all?
Sometimes people like to make us shock the water.
Suck.
Shock it.
Oh.
Shock it.
Oh, well, that sounds a little bit, Well, how do they make you do it?
Give us a little boop on the nose.
Oh, well, I shall not do that to you, bud. And
Helpful.
yeah. Sprig.
Food.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna. Sprig reaches into their bag, muscles around a little bit, pulls out a croissant. They just have bread at all times, and they break it up and scattered it across the water. Wash that nose, all right? Don't let anybody touch it against your will, all right?
Okay. Thanks for the food. Serrecor's the one who kind of has the most knowledge and experience with like the Arcana. So you can easily trigger certain creatures, the seal in particular, to kind of fill the water, especially with an electric charge. You also would know that there is a way to kind of contain that electrified water in a small, like, case of some kind.
Yeah.
Oh, because it was lightning damage.
It was lightning damage on the shroomies.
Oh.
Yeah.
on the Nexus.
Yeah, you tell us.
You can bottle their electricity?
Yes.
Like lightning in a bottle, okay.
Lightning in a bottle.
Wait.
That's what hurt the network. Right?
Yeah.
Someone.
Oof. Played with these seals.
In a not fun way. Not like us.
Well, it's gotta be the bandit camp.
Some batty bantams are booping the seals.
Bopping the boots.
You come off of your crankcraft and onto the dock, and you see the ladder. It's just right at the edge of the dock that goes straight up. It's this sheer kind of cliffside. You're actually quite grateful for the ladder itself, because if you were to try and like rock climb it in some ways, it is just one smooth surface with not much opportunities for like rest. There aren't many levels to it. It is just sheer.
Well, I don't think Pearl can climb a ladder.
You have like almost like a harness.
And I pull her up.
That or there's two little straps that come out from the harness, and you have larger companions than yourself they can wear Pearl as a backpack.
Sprig, I could carry Pearl, or I could carry you, and Tykan could carry Pearl.
Ella, if you want to carry me, and Tykan, if you would like to take this harness and just strap Pearl right in there, just Tykan with a little. She's only 3.5 feet, so.
Okay. Is it a baby Bjorn?
Baby Bjorn. Confirmed.
I'll say for the purposes of climbing up a ladder, probably better than
No.
That's so
But
true.
it could be either way, so
Okay,
we'll
yeah,
put
it's
it on the back.
reversible.
I have to like put it over the
this
tree.
cow harness backpack.
Yeah, great. Oh, got her.
She'll kind of lean back and give you a little lick.
That was very genuine, very believable.
And then I go over to Ella. Uppies! Let's go!
Allie can climb a ladder like nobody's business.
Oh.
Oh, it's great.
Just imagine it.
Just imagine. Just imagine someone
Describe
climbing
it.
a ladder like nobody's business. Like,
Wow, that's amazing.
You've
Like
seen Olympic
flipping
climbing?
one
Yeah.
hand.
That's business.
that's
Yeah.
This is nobody's
business.
Okay, you begin your ascent, and though it takes some time for most of you, your like eye level finally kind of rises above the level of the land, which is actually quite flat because you realize that you've sort of reached a like very tilled farmland. The first thing you see is like a big pumpkin patch, and then beyond that there's this thick field of corn. And then just beyond that you can just see a little bit of like a little steeple roof to possibly a barn. As you kind of land safely and place Sprig on the ground, there is like a little painted sign, like a little weathered wooden sign that just says, "Welcome to the fairy farm." And there's little insectoid, like kid handprints in pink paint just all around the sign.
Oh, Ella, look! There must be some fairies here.
Oh, fairy farm.
Is this a farm that fairies farm or farms fairies?
I would hope the first one.
Yeah.
Where would you like to go? What direction? You can go straight and toward like the barn area, or just go around along the path.
I like to go to the barn.
We could go to the barn.
Marn?
Might be nice to ask people about what happened here.
Can I see if there's anything magical or magical objects or people in this area?
What does it look like when you do sense it?
Like when Kirby gets an exclamation point above his head.
Yeah?
One of those things, yeah.
Okay. I would say your head almost pops off your shoulders.
Whoa.
Because there is a lot of magic coming from the farm area. And not just a single point. Seems
Okay.
like a lot of the farm has elements of magic.
Oh yeah, when we look around the farm, how does it look? Does it look like has it been?
Damaged.
Yeah.
Ravaged.
Good question. I would say it's hard to see past that like initial collection of like corn stalks
Oh, the
because
corn
they're quite high. But yeah, you can see it looks mostly maintained. It might not. It might be like a little past its harvest, as if maybe someone's not quite there to tend to it on a daily basis. But it's not ravaged from what you can see where you're at right now.
How close to the breach are we?
Like a couple miles of a walk.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the farm is pretty expansive. You'd imagine it's like 3 major plots sideways, so you would imagine it kind of mirrors that lengthwise as well. So it's a bigger piece of land.
Oh well, Ella, fairies are magical in nature, right? Mm-hmm. So it might be a bunch of magical fairies here.
That would be very nice.
Serrecor, since you were the one kind of sensing magic, you reach the like fence that's kind of holding the beginnings of the pumpkin patch, and you get the sense that the vines in this location have a little bit of like a protective element to it. Almost like you maybe should avoid stepping on them.
Okay. Okay, great. So I would like to tell that to my people.
I'm just about to step on the
Yeah.
I could ask a pumpkin if there's anything bad happening here. Hey there, little pumpkin friend. We're just passing through, looking to make sure that this town is A-okay, and we just want to make sure that the magic around you is good magic and not bad magic.
Stay away from the farm!
Oh, okay, well, what about if we go around the farm and to the barn?
Ladies away, just stay away from the barn!
Sprig, you talk to everyone. Can we just go to the farm?
Well, actually, it's telling us to not go to the farm.
Wait, what?
What?
It's saying the lady's away. Lady being your friend?
Laney, the one who takes care of it.
Laney.
Stay away.
Now, this farm's called Fairy Farm. Where are the fairies?
That's a good question.
Is the lady a fairy?
Yes.
Has the lady been gone for a day or more?
More.
If she's been gone for a while, you must be dehydrated.
I mean, yeah, like a little bit.
We want to gift you water so that we may pass through. Just take a look at the farm, make sure everything's okay, and that's it.
Yeah, just on 2 conditions.
All right.
Don't pick us.
Okay.
Stay away from the scarecrow.
Oh my god, that's so scary. Okay. All right, Serrecor, do your thing.
Okay. Serrecor summons as much water as he can.
Seems like we're in accord here. So do you mind if we step right through? Not touching any of you, just getting through the farm, checking out the barn.
And avoiding the scarecrow.
Wait, can we what does the scarecrow, can we see it? What does it look like?
I'll fly up. You fly up?
Yeah.
How high do you go?
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go above the corn because before you use that tone of voice, that was my plan, and I'm gonna stick to it.
Okay. As you fly up, I'd say about like 30 feet off the ground, you see the corn kind of extend for quite a few, like 50, 100 feet. You see like a couple other like grooves kind of dug into it so that you can have like several hallways, ways to get out. And at the dead center of it, you see like a big scarecrow kind of like hitched up on a post. You see the barn. You see in front of the barn, kind of, it's difficult to see at this distance, but just like an oddly shaped, kind of cone-like or cylindrical shape right in front of the barn door. And then beyond the barn, you see that the pumpkin patch and cornfield that are on the other side have been wiped. They have been completely razed, like it's destroyed.
We're close to the house, but the poor farm on the other side has been completely. It's not a working field on the other side. It's quite sad. And I saw the scarecrow. It's quite scary. So let's be careful. This is someone else's home and someone else's stuff.
Do you know what's going on the other side of the barn?
Can't see it.
But you know about the scarecrow.
Yep.
Does the scarecrow move around?
Yep.
That's so scary. Those things, it'll leave us be, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Well, you should probably also just stay away from him
Yeah.
because he doesn't know you gave me water.
Oh, will you tell him?
Can't.
It's so good that we're made friends with this pumpkin.
Honestly, y'all lock in on this all day. It's fantastic.
Okay, all right, friends, let's, well, I think we should take a look just because someone might be in danger.
Yes, please.
Okay, and the scarecrow does move, okay. And I don't like that, actually, because that seems very against nature. But anything is possible, and I'm open to that. Never mind, I'm sorry for being negative. Okay.
Scarecrow's movement is a crazy piece of information. No doubt about that, dude.
You all
no
start
doubt.
moving
Yeah, let's
forward
go.
into the
Go.
pumpkin patch, and slowly as you kind of approach the cornfield, there's a little hallway just as Ella was able to kind of discern when she flew up. And at the center of it, you do see a scarecrow. At the moment, totally stationary, nothing like spooky about it in any way.
Oh, it's got a smile. It's fine.
Are we talking?
I'll say you're kind of moving alongside them up in the air. I'll say that now you get closer to the barn. You take a look at that little cylindrical thing again, now that it's closer in your vision. It kind of looks like a chrysalis.
I stopped flying. Like, literally stop flying and I fall. I think there's a chrysalis on that front porch.
Oh.
Sometimes when something very bad has happened to fairies, we revert back into our chrysalis form. Something really bad happened here.
Do you think, like the other side of the farm being destroyed, do you think that could have hurt this farmer? This farmer fairy?
Possibly. It looked like on the sign maybe there were like little kid fairies, and I don't see anyone over here. Okay. Why don't we go a little closer?
Just to cover what the barn looks like, it's got like red painted walls. It looks a little weathered, some shingles have fallen. There's a big barn door with a big padlock, keeping it shut. And then you see one humongous, well, I guess not super, about Serrecor size sort of chrysalis. And it's like a cocoon-shaped thing that Kelley invented for this campaign, which is awesome. So you see this chrysalis, it's green from like tip to tip, but at the center of it you see kind of shining through it because it's a little translucent, like monarch butterfly wings almost, with these oranges and reds kind of framed in these black little lines with little white dots on them.
How do you know this is one of your fairies and not the gurgle fly that attacked us a fortnight ago?
No one else could do this. No one else could take this form. No one else could make something so beautiful and so sad. Something very, very bad has happened here, and I know I keep saying that, but it really is when fairies experience a trauma. Like, that is the only reason we go into this form, to heal. And if this person here is the owner of this farm, I don't know why they would leave this farm behind.
The chrysalises aren't like a total state of vulnerability where they're kind of just on lockdown and isolated from the world itself. If they are in chrysalis form in a location that they have like a large emotional investment in, they can sort of like emanate this protective magic, and it's sort of emanated in this way in like protective magics where there's some like weirdly sentient farm creatures that sort of protect their land while they're kind of going through what they're going through. You also know that when there's like some form of reconciliation happening, like if somebody did something malicious towards this fairy that caused them into this state, and that person later seeks like recompense or tries to reconcile the situation, it can speed up the healing process a little bit.
Like we're at this entrance of the farmhouse?
Yes, but it is currently shut and padlocked, just with a simple lock.
Well,
You think I wouldn't give you a lock
I think
to pick?
I might gonna do something about that.
Yep. Just easily open this very rudimentary lock and unhook it, and you can open the barn door. Totally calm inside. Just to describe like what you're looking at, you see no people that could come out and attack you or anything. Like in the back left, there's like simple storage for like farming equipment and stuff like that. On the right, there's like a very modest little dining area. There's a loft with like a ladder going up to it where you can maybe make out like a loft, like a couple of cots kind of laid out on top of there. And then on your far left, you see kind of one of those folding like room separators, you know, those decorative ones where you can be behind something. And just peeking out from that is a chest.
Serrecor, there's a chest. It's right behind you. See that foldy thingy thing? It's right behind that. I see it peeking out.
Well, we exercised excellent teamwork earlier. So I say, you and I, pal, let's go investigate the chests.
Yeah. Let's do it.
But much to Tykan's chagrin, there is no lock and key and no keyhole. There is, however, 6 little square indents running from left to right across the chest, and one of which has like a little tile placed into it. And the tile has like a little like etched wood. Yeah, you're nodding, you know what I'm got. Like a little image etched into it.
We're kissing frogs.
So this is kind of what you see.
All right.
And there's 5 vacant spots.
Frog kissing show.
Okay.
I like that.
I think it's a puzzle.
Yeah, I think we have to fill in the missing
Yeah, the missing slots.
characters to tell the story.
If you were to reach toward that little tile that's kind of set in, it can just fall out. Like it's not like attached to the thing.
So we pull this tile off.
Okay.
And then I gingerly place it in the second to last, or second to right.
Second to right?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Is the chest opens?
Nope, done.
Can I look around the barn to see if there are any more of these tiles? Oh, I pull myself up to the loft.
Great, cool. So when you go up onto the loft, you see 3 little cots. You also see a nightstand with kind of like a little framed sketch portrait. And on one of the cots, it's a little smaller than the others, there's like a little stuffed frog kind of gently tucked into the sheets.
Frog. Just like the puzzle. I grab the frog. Can I look at the sketch portrait?
You can, yeah. So when you take a look at the sketch portrait, you see notes. You see 3 figures, all of which are fairies. And 2 of them look adult-sized, one of them looks a little bit younger. They have kind of similar coloring to one another, possibly relatives, mostly that like monarch sort of coloring, fuzzy black necks going up to like a smoother black head with little like antennas that kind of stick straight diagonally out and then peek downward. You see one of the older fairies have maybe like a little bit more of a feminine feature, like a cute little smirky smile. Second adult one, a little bit more muscular, and piercings kind of all over their ears and nasal passages. And then the younger one has like kind of a little indented antenna, and they're just all kind of staring kind of right in front of the barn. And you're taking a close look at the sketch. I'll say you find 2 tiles, one under the frog, and then one kind of by the sketch there.
Wait.
There seem to be more tiles than there are slots.
Oh
I'm
no.
gonna solve this puzzle.
Yeah, princess potion turns it into frog. Then frog prince with her she kiss.
Make.
She man. Then castle.
Unless
1,
this
2,
is-
3, 4, 5, 6.
Unless
Perfect.
this is a.
So the
What do you got?
princess did it?
No. Princess potion. Oh yeah.
She turned.
As you kind of like go through the perimeter while they're checking
Yeah.
out that, and you maybe take a second to just kind of peek through that next layer of corn that's somehow still standing, almost just creating like a visual barrier there. You just take a little peek, and just to describe that destruction.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's all of these, you never got to meet them, but there's these creatures that were tasked with protecting the farm. They're like almost sentient looking giant cobs of corn and giant cobs of pumpkin cobs, giant spheres of pumpkins that have little arms, but they are all kind of laying flat, no animation to them anymore. There's like big piles of straw that kind of get caught up in the breeze and blow away. And then last but not least, there's these deep giant grooves in the tilled earth. Like if you were to look down into one of them, it goes like 2 feet deep, but it's one like right after to the other, kind of looks like a large bipedal creature just kind of dragging its feet through the earth as if it was passing through. You even actually see, just to understand like the mass of the creature, like a tree that's been uprooted from the ground and like swung almost like a giant like club, like a improvised kind of weapon.
Yeah.
That's what you see.
Is there like a trail of this destruction, or
There is.
okay?
Looks like it's heading east. Okay. The town of Dunta is just a little bit north, like maybe a mile, and then you know that east of that is the like drop from the mountains towards the bandit camp.
It's gnarly back there. Let me tell you what. Oh boy. Honestly, it shook me to my core seeing what I saw back there.
I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay, Allie. It's gonna be okay.
I know. Dude, I wonder if there is anything we can do here.
I'd like to like almost send a prayer inside and see if I can sense the type of turmoil it is, or get a sense of like the emotion or grief.
You get like a quick image of this monstrosity like kind of tearing through the town, just like in a flash. And then maybe the next thing is you see actually another chrysalis. It looks a little different though. It's got like little orange edges instead of the green ones. It's a little smaller. You see that one start to form kind of at the backside of what looks like this barn, and that's gone. And then finally you just start to see the chrysalis sort of form up above the eyes of this other person.
I sprint around to the other side of the barn, like in flight. Like I take off and go to the other side.
There's nothing there.
Oh. Okay, I come back.
What was back there?
I thought there was a second one. I got a sense or a vision that there was a smaller, maybe child chrysalis back there, but it seems to be gone, which might be good. Maybe they woke up.
Yeah. Let's find them. Let's find that other chrysalis who's hopefully not a chrysalis anymore.
That would be nice. And I go into the barn and I see what's happening here.
Okay. Have you locked it in?
Yeah, we've moved some tiles around.
That looks pretty good.
We've put both of our total knowledge of 0 to use.
work.
Knowledge
Yes.
of 0. Okay, so let's see. We've got the prince, followed by the witch with the cauldron turning the prince into a frog.
Correct.
And then we've got a frog with a princess. We've got a frog being kissed by a princess. Frog being turned back into a prince. And then they live happily ever after. Inside the chest you hear,
Congratulations.
sounds like it unlocked. You find 1 stamina potion. And then you find 1 item and 1 loot. And how we're gonna do this is Daggerheart style, where there is a table of 12 things, like common items and loots that you can find. I'll let each of you roll a d12. Tykan reaches in and pulls out this like clear jar. You recognize this as a fire jar.
Ooh.
All right, what do you got for the consumable?
8.
8, okay. You find another minor stamina potion. So you've got 2 total of those, and then 1 of those fire jars.
Hey, friends, do you think we should check in town and see if they know about what happened here?
I think we should follow the destruction.
You don't think we should
And
check
why?
in before we go?
I think if I were to put pieces together and trust my gut on things, I think the little one might have gone after whatever was here.
Oh, the little chrysalis?
Or that big creature might have grabbed that chrysalis and taken it with him. I think towards the danger will give us more of our answers than towards town.
Okay, so you all start kind of following these deep grooves that are going through the earth. Sometimes, like, you'll find a tree that's been snapped in half as something is clearly just trying to, like, make its way quickly towards a certain location.
Are there any claws? I forget if when you were looking around, like claw marks.
No claw marks.
Yeah.
It seems like whatever appendages this creature has, it might be a little bit more of a blunt force than anything, like, razor sharp.
Right.
Is there any deviations towards a village, towards an encampment, towards anything else, or is it one straight direction?
It's a great question. I will say, with your long vision on, you see that the grooves are heading, beelining almost to that place where the mountain starts to descend. And as you're looking out toward that, you also start to see like almost more of a man-made structure kind of poking out and maybe leading to like a little bit of a platform.
I think we follow.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep following the path.
Great. So as you do start, as you start moving forward, I'll say that man-made structure becomes more in your vision as you get past certain trees. You can definitely see it's like a rope, like with those knots kind of tied into it to help somebody ascend quickly and easily, and got like a little bit of like railings going around it, and it looks like there's a nylon kind of textured rope that goes straight down.
From the
Parallel to the mountainside, going downward from the platform. And that's what you can see kind of from that distance.
Take it to the extreme.
Gotta send it. Gotta send it.
As you're the first person that kind of gets up onto that little platform, you see a vacant single boot kind of sitting tilted over on the platform. You see a kind of like a little, how do I describe this? You know how when you're like holding vials and they're in a little rack, there's little holes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's only one layer and there's little circular indents in it, almost like you're trying to store spherical, like small spherical
Little
things.
orbs.
An orb.
It's empty at the moment. You also
Okay.
find a slingshot,
Very cool.
and you see a bucket that's filled with a certain kind of flower. They're actually called, you all would know this, are very common, golden poppies. But there's like a mortar and pestle kind of filled with ground up like materials from that bucket in there as well. That's what
Okay.
you see.
So they were
I just
grinding.
hit you with a lot,
Yeah. So they were grinding things up and putting them in little orbs and then firing them with the slingshot.
presumably.
Interesting.
You also know that
And
golden.
there's a boot.
Oh,
You also and the boot, of course.
Boot.
You also know that golden poppies, their pollen, if it's in large amounts, their properties, it can cause somebody to fall asleep.
Yo, there's some stuff up here.
hey, Allie, I dare to eat one of them puppies.
No.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I can't say no.
I mean,
Can't say
boy,
no.
but I think, I know we both know what it does. I was just trying to pull your chain a little bit, pull your whip, if I may, and I did.
You gonna let this 2-footer
Rick.
talk to you like that?
Maybe
Not
you
the
could save one for
two-footer.
later. Maybe you could save one for later.
Okay.
What does Allie want to do?
I will practice restraint and I will save the delicious treat for later.
I'll take a bite as well.
I bless this union.
All right, so you two kind of carefully pocket as far away from any nostrils
Yeah.
or orifices
Very
on the
carefully.
You're gonna
face.
sleep so good tonight.
Oh.
Great. Is there anything else that you kind of want to take from the platform?
The slingshot. Ooh.
Feel free to read that out loud if you want.
Finesse, close, two-handed. This is a big slingshot.
You gotta. It takes 2 hands to execute it. It's not like
Somebody pull it for me.
that would be sweet.
That watermelon lady.
Writing that down.
I would help.
When using ammunition designed to apply effects in a single target and no damage, add an additional +2 to hit. When using a slingshot with standard or improvised ammunition, a creature takes d6 on a hit. However, a slingshot is typically used for firing handmade ammunition that contains powders or liquids that apply effects to the target. Cool. Okay, this is all making sense. When used in this way, the target takes no damage, but you add an additional 2 to hit. Interesting.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Does the trail go the same direction as the zip line?
Great question. Yeah, it basically follows it perfectly.
So we're looking to make a dramatic entrance. If we go down this, is that what y'all want to do?
Yes.
Well, it might not go directly into the middle of their encampment. It might go somewhere, like a storage place or something. But you're right that, like, when you get to the bottom, you might want to try to, I don't know,
Shield up.
shield up. Yeah, yeah.
Allie, would you lead us?
I'll lead you guys. All right. So here's what you want to do when you're on a zip line. You want to keep your knees tight. All right, because you don't want them dangling around. That's going to throw off your center of gravity. You want to keep the knees tight, elbows tucked in. Basically, you want to make yourselves like a small pellet moving down the line. All right. Okay. Now watch me. Y'all might want to put on a helmet. I'm not gonna, but y'all might want to. And I send it.
5 Mississippi.
Yeah.
Whoosh.
Followed by Serrecor. Okay.
I think I just fly along right next to them.
Can I get in the harness that maybe you're still wearing?
Yeah. I haven't taken it off. I tighten it up a little bit.
Whoa. Well, thank you.
As you start zipping down this zip line, Allie is the first one that kind of comes close to where the mountain peak kind of meets the flatter land, and you start to make out the platform that the other part of the zip line is kind of attached to. And you see that the platform itself is broken, like severely so. There is just now kind of like a tree with the zip line kind of meeting it, and whatever sort of like cushion or bedroll that they had to like create some kind of cushion between tree and zip line
behind us.
has completely been removed from the zip line.
I agree, absolutely.
Great.
I'm gonna swing myself so I rotate around and
Great.
launch myself off the zip line and grab onto the tree as if it were a mast on a great sailing ship.
I love that. Why don't you go ahead and make a check for me?
I'll spend a hope to take it to the extreme.
Love it.
Yeah.
Spend that.
13.
You hit one of the first branches before
Yeah.
falling and kind of catching one of the ones that's resting just below it. I'll say you take a stress.
Okay, great. Take stress.
Cool. And oh yeah, go ahead. Oh, you were about to say.
I had 5 Mississippis between
You had
me
5
and Sarah.
Mississippis. Yes, you did.
Are those 5 Mississippis enough for me to play it off?
I'm down to 3 Mississippis. Give me a warning.
Just go.
Yep. And 2, 1. Serrecor comes racing in.
Great.
What does he do?
I see this tree stump. I want to spit some water to slow it down, like a fire hydrant, or like out of my mouth, so that'll at least soften my speed of acceleration into the side of that tree.
5, 4, 3, 2.
I think I'm gonna see all this happening, and I'm gonna cast vicious tangle on us to be
Okay.
restrained by vines before we crash.
Okay. Out of Sprig's hands, you just see like a bunch of vines start to emanate and run up the nylon rod that's kind of like keeping you connected to this string here. And it like grasps and plucks and digs its needles into the rod and Tykan's assumption was mostly right that like this isn't directly leading into a bandit
Like,
hideout.
yeah.
Yeah. It's mainly for transportation and then they travel further.
Is there a pretty clear path to where we think the...
Yes, I would say those grooves are very distinct and very deep, so
Okay,
they're
we
easy to
can
find.
just continue to follow those.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. As you kind of peek your heads out from one of the final trees before seeing this massive expanse of a lake, you peek out, and it's a little hard to see because like the sun is starting to just set right behind this large figure, but directly in front of this lake, you see the silhouette of a massive bipedal seated at the edge of the lake, and you can like see its movements, and they look very calm and very slow, and it looks like maybe it's almost trying to like pinch certain trees or brush like in its arms, and then just gently place it kind of down by its feet. I'll say if you get a little bit closer, you'll probably be able to make out a little more detail there.
Did you see what it did to the farm? It's gonna do that to us.
Can we just get a little closer and see if the chrysalis is there? I don't want to damage it. Just a little bit.
Good point.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, you guys get a little bit closer? Yeah, sure. As you get closer and the sun starts to just slowly peek behind this creature, you do get a better sense of what this thing is. And I would say you have only really ever read about them or seen them sketched out, but it looks like a massive earth elemental. It's mostly made up these like, its shoulders are like these large boulders, and then its arms are these like intricate pieces of marble that are like browns and grays as it kind of just veins and travels up through its arms. It's got this big head with kind of distinguishable eyes and like this weird straight mouth that's got these like crags in it. And you can see that it's holding big like berry bushes, which are flowers in comparison to the size of this creature. Like they are so small in his hands, and he's bringing them carefully down, and he's placing them at the chrysalis, almost like how you would place flowers on a grave.
Seems like a gentle soul, unaware of the destruction it might cause.
Yeah.
Sprig, is there any way we can communicate with this creature?
Well, there's I say it never hurts to try.
I give you a look and scoop you up and well, let's go talk to them and fly you up to like the top of the creature. Like get close.
Oh, you're getting like right up to its face.
Yes, unless
Just asking
Sprig-
a clarifying question. No ominous tone at all.
Just
Should we do this?
before you go, I say, listen, I just want to say how you're handling all of this. It's beautiful. And I'm gonna use my soldier's bond, and once per long rest, I can compliment someone or ask them about something they're good at, and we both take 3 hope.
Whoa.
Hey,
That is
y'all.
so cute.
Okay.
Ella starts crying again.
As you slowly approach, trying to show no signs of any kind of aggression towards this creature, I'll say as it comes up after placing one of its last berries, it catches sight of you.
Because Ella is holding Sprig, their arms are free. So I just put my little nubs up, like in a kind of like open fashion, showing that I have no weapons in my hands at all. And I say, well, hello there. My friend, it seems like you're taking good care of this creature in front of you. We'd like to help.
If the creature had eyebrows, you would almost see them kind of like furrow and raise, almost in like a suspicion at first. Then they calm.
I like motion towards Ella's wings and be like, that creature is like this, my friend Ella.
I hurt.
It's okay. Sometimes we do things we don't mean to do. But I need you to know that that creature is alive. Right, Ella? Tell him.
Yes, it's just very sad and very tired.
I made sad.
Sprig, I'll be right back. And I place you on on the shoulder.
Whoa!
And fly down to the chrysalis and then signal to the rest of the party that like you can come, it's okay. It's okay.
As she places you on the shoulder, you get a closer look at the creature as well, and I'll say the shoulder that she placed you on, you look kind of right where its jaw is and like right underneath its ear, and you see like a little honey mushroom growing, but it looks almost artificial, like too perfect. And you would know that honey mushrooms most of the time are no threat to mortal people, but they can be parasitic. If they cling to a tree, it sucks the nutrients from that tree, and even when that tree is now dead, it lives still off of the organic material of that tree. If you ever approach a it's not honeysuckle, that's an apple, or a flower. If you ever approach a honey mushroom born from the Nexus, they are much more massive and more powerful, like you saw with the chanterelles and dimdakes. Those you have to be wary of, because they will just cling to your body and not only leach your nutrients, but there are possible other side effects where you maybe like lose control of yourself. Parasitic elements can like start to grow in your body and maybe come fuse to you and control you in certain ways. So you see, but again, a little artificial, but that kind of a mushroom on a shoulder.
Like, so it's too perfect. Like, it doesn't seem natural.
Yeah, like it's just like perfectly circular. There's no bumps or dimples. And as Ella kind of relates to the group.
Yeah.
Good. All right.
Looks like we got the go ahead. Start gently.
Yes, I just whisper, these are our friends.
Friends.
Yeah.
Scott, dude.
He looks at you, Tykan, giant, also made of stone, and just has a little... Does like a gentle wave.
I think he likes you, Tykan.
Hey, do you have a name?
Big.
Oh.
Nice. That's a good name for you. What are you doing over here, buddy?
I hurt and now heal.
Oh, okay. How do you're gonna heal this little thingy thing?
Say sorry.
Oh, okay, Big. Great. Can we help you in any way?
Flowers?
Okay. Flowers? You want more flowers?
Sure. 2 big hands to pick up flowers.
Okay. Big, have you seen, I'm gonna start like picking flowers. Or are there any flowers nearby?
Yeah, you'll see like he's again, no fingers, just this like stump of a rock, and he'll like point in the direction of ones that he saw that he really liked, maybe a couple of like bushels of like rose bushes, and maybe a couple like dandelions further down by the water. Yeah.
Have you seen any other people around here, Big?
Yes.
Okay.
Not nice people.
No.
That's what I was worried about.
They took Big.
They took you?
Did they pull you out?
How?
Made Big go to sleep.
Your drugs. Your poppies.
Poppies, yeah.
Okay.
So we think.
We know how they did that.
Did it look something like this? I go into his pouch. And
Oh, yeah.
Pull out the slingshot to say, okay.
Okay.
We
and
found.
we put it away.
We'll put it away.
I'll fly down to the chrysalis.
Okay.
And kind of just like, hello, beautiful, and try to feel its energy just like I did with the other one to see if like I see anything of what happened.
Sort of take a second to kind of connect to the chrysalis. And the first flashing image that you see is the more of like feminine fairy that you saw in that image, just kind of like neatly rested like underneath a canopy of trees, kind of where these big mushrooms, like these red, almost like fingertips kind of pointing out of the dirt. They're like just quietly, calmly reading right next to this big, massive collection of mushrooms. And then the next second, poof, you see a town just completely decimated. Like you see a single steeple where the school bell, you imagine, has fallen and like made a giant dent into the porch of this church, or school, sorry. All of the other homes have been kind of like wrecked to the first level and maybe even less. And then another, poof, you see a final look at the more like muscular fairy kind of walking around the corner of the barn just before that chrysalis kind of encapsulates them.
The one of the little one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I will also say, as you kind of connect to it and have had such an emotional reaction to the chrysalis's stories in general, you think that the elemental's way of weirdly asking for forgiveness is working. Mm-hmm. It feels like this creature is almost ready to kind of come out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hello. Oh, you've been through so much. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be better. It's all gonna be okay. They're sorry. They're very sorry for what they did. And there's someone waiting for you on the outside here. If you want to come out when you're ready.
Anything else anyone is doing?
Here's some more flowers. I got a bunch. There you go.
Thank you.
Yep, right there, Big. I like your earring, Big. That little thing over there.
Big don't like.
Oh, not your style.
Look at.
Big, would you like us to remove that?
Big try. Hurts.
What does it feel like when you do that?
Ouch.
Big, my friend, I know those bad people, they put you to sleep and they somehow used you. I think we might have to put you to sleep just so that when we remove this, I don't want you to feel pain. And hopefully then when you wake up, you'll feel all better. I know you're taking a lot of trust in us, but we're patchers. It's our job to make sure the natural world is safe and in order.
You put Big to sleep. You watch. And he points to the chrysalis.
Absolutely, we won't take our eyes off it.
Yeah, I'm still down there,
Chrysalis.
like, touching it.
Her chrysalis. Same. Same.
And you put Big to sleep. Get rid of earring. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe Big should lay down first.
Absolutely, yeah. Why don't you lay down, you put your head against this tree trunk, it'll kind of keep you up all right.
Shatters the tree.
You see, Big was originally kind of seated by this lakeside, and in order to get to that tree, he has to stand up. So you see, like, he puts his 2 big fists down on the ground to kind of hoist himself up. And as he slowly gets up, he is maybe 30, 35 feet tall. He is just this hulking rock figure. And you can almost feel the ground just slightly vibrate. Yeah, thank you. I don't have the base for that. As he slowly takes a couple steps towards the trees and just places himself down. Kind of gets in position, lies back. Points to his mouth. Alright, he takes pinches it almost inside of his little.
We both have nubs.
Aww. So cute. And he'll slowly put them in his mouth, chew, swallow. Give me 1 second.
Drug dealer card.
How many did you guys grab?
We grabbed.
We probably
2
split it.
bunches. Yeah.
Whatever was in the bucket. I don't know how many that was.
I'll say that was just enough. Usually, someone would have to make some kind of like a reaction roll to see if they could become susceptible to it, but I'll say because he's basically given consent to do this, he doesn't try to like combat it in any way. So mechanically what's happening is when you apply something like a poppy powder, or like when you're hit with one of those little cannons there, you are hit and then you have to make a certain save, like I said, and then you take 3 stress if you fail that save. However, some creatures have much more than 3 stress. In order to actually put them to sleep, that last stress that they tick off has to be because of a poppy seed powder or something. So if they had 5 stress being used up and then they take a stress from an additional attack, that does not put them to sleep, that just expends their stress and then you have to try to apply it again. Does that make sense? The last tick of stress has to be because of the poppy powder.
So you could build up that stress any other way.
Yes.
That last one's got to be poppy.
Yeah, so you gotta kind of like plan that last hit if you're using it in a forceful way. Yeah. All right, so it takes a moment to kind of kick in. It's digested instead of like going up into like the nasal cavities as that powder. But yeah, he eventually just slowly kind of.
You see, this earring is a honey mushroom, and I'm not sure what type of this is because it looks like one I've never seen before. It seems like someone made it and put it on this creature.
Classic.
And I think if we can remove it, maybe Steve can help us, and that way we won't suffer the effects of this unnatural fungus.
It's gotta be those bandits, right? You think? Think they made it?
I mean, if
That would be my guess.
Made something to manipulate him?
they're smart enough to bottle lightning.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'd love to check the perimeter. I'd love to, sort of.
Go ahead and make an instinct roll for me, please.
Great. That's gonna be a 14 with hope.
14 with hope, great. Take a look around. You'll occasionally hear like a twig snapping, and you'll go and investigate. Looks like just wildlife kind of exploring its natural habitat. You don't see any sign of any bandits or thieves.
Okay, well let's have Steve touch it.
Yes, see what happens.
Try the extraction.
Okay, great. So again, how did you describe it? Like a shadowy spherical?
Yeah, like a shadow. It's basically like my shadow that just hangs out up here, right above me. It's blue and purple and very smoky. So I'm like, Steve, go ahead, do your thing. And then Steve's like, oh, dude, all right, man. And then he just comes forward.
He sounds chill.
He's pretty relaxed. Steve sounds like this. Okay, Steve sounds like this.
Yeah.
Steve sounds like
Hit
this.
us with Steve.
Steve sounds like this. So Steve says, so you're telling me you want me to you're telling me you want me to roll a spellcast roll and target within far range and on success. If I roll a round of d6 equal my spellcast trait deals that magic damage to the target, but I'm gonna do it in a safe way. Is that what you're telling me? And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're. Okay, so you're telling me. So you're telling me then do you want me to dissipate as a result of this? So I'm gone either way. I'm like, yeah, I can make another one of you, Steve. There's only one Steve. I said, Steve, will you do this for me? I'll make another one of you. And he's like, yes, fine, I'll do this for you. So now we have to do that in order to
Bye, Steve.
be considerate and attack, but it's going to be done with the finesse and the gentleness as to not harm our creature.
Okay, go ahead and roll for an attack.
6 is good.
Oh, that's critical.
And I got a 6 too!
Yeah, whoa.
6
Critical
Steve.
damage?
divine.
Can you kind of describe how Steve sort of attacks this
Yeah,
little...
sure. So Steve,
spot?
as a Midnight Spirit, has a bunch of like, let's say dual staffs that go through his body in like kind of a clock formation. So
Okay.
Every hour, and so he just kind of
Wow.
Like hula hoops?
yeah.
Okay, so these spokes, like almost like the wheel of a ship, just poof, poof,
Yes,
poof,
yes,
poof.
yes.
You feel whatever sort of magic, natural or organic or otherwise, you feel it slowly just starting to get pounded out of this little mechanism now at this point. It stays. Like, it is not destroyed, but the essence within it has been completely contaminated.
So is it like
That was
no longer
critical.
glowing like yellow? Like it's not like
Yeah, I would see
kind of
it
like
seems
lost?
inert.
Oh, Serrecor, that was truly something else. That was amazing, bud. Thank you.
Don't thank me. I spent a hope. And then Steve.
Hey, what did I say? Hey, what did I say, everybody?
Wow,
Steve's back.
Thank
I'm maybe gonna use my nomadic pack because I think I would know what kind of like counters the effects of poppy. Maybe something, another plant that maybe help. Well, it's gotta be a red fern. Sprig reaches into their pack and pulls out a big handful of this red fern, and gingerly sticks it into Big's mouth.
You start to just see a little bit of, like, kind of vague movements as if he's kind of stirring. You also see two other things. You turn around towards the lake, and slowly you start to see the chrysalis begin to sort of spiral and lower, revealing these beautiful red and orange wings. And then the last thing you see, you turn kind of back towards the resting giant, and you hear kind of like a couple of twigs snapping. Well, well, well. If it isn't the disgraced Dracona Serrecor. Huh? Brightbush isn't gonna believe this. And that's where we're gonna end.